Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful that you were here, you guys. Today we're doing a little bit of a different video. So Ali recommended me to do a video on negotiation tactics and how to be a better negotiator. This will literally change your whole entire life and how you interact with people on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so pretty much all the concepts I've been using were from the book Never Split the Difference. That book will literally one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. If you have to read one book, you read that one book. I'm serious. If you don't read, listen to the audiobook. That book will change your life. So I'm going to go over some of the Cole's notes here from the book, and I'm going to explain it because I'm a real estate agent and I've gotten a lot of deals from using these tactics, but also just interacting with people on a day-to-day basis is very important. So let's go into the first and most important thing. Is to be kind and empathetic, but also you need to be willing to like always walk away and always say no. So let me give you some examples. Say you have to bring something in for a return, okay, and it's past the return date, and they don't have to take the return. Okay, you guys, let me tell you the strategy that I always use. So first you go in, you can't start yelling and screaming, okay? So you have to bring up the whole reason why. You have to make them feel the empathy for you. So you have to say, okay, I bought this, it's broken, I know it's out of the return window, but this is why you should help me. This is the thing, this is the product you have, and so you kind of have to frame it so that they feel bad, okay? Not like they feel bad, but they can understand you. And so sometimes when I get frustrated, if I'm on hold or something, somebody on the other line, I will say, listen, I know it's not your fault, but this is very frustrating. If you were in my situation, I always say, if this was you, if you were in my situation, you would be frustrated too. Or, how would you feel? That kind of thing, right? And then that sort of forces them to feel empathy. Now they're not the person who's on the other line getting bitched at. They're on your side now, and they're saying, okay, you know what? That is kind of shitty. We aren't helping this person out when we should be. And so it kind of like changes the mindset a little bit. And so you always want to figure out like, where's their mindset? Because oftentimes there's like a wall between you and the other person you're negotiating with. And so you need to break down the wall a little bit. You need to figure out, okay, what do they want? And how can I get them to see what I want? Okay. And how do I get them to want the same things as me? Right. So that's the first thing. The first thing is always to get them on your side. Okay, you need to get the other person on your side, and that's genuinely just by explaining the situation properly. If you're frustrated, that's okay, but as long as you say like, listen, I know it's not your fault. I know it's not your fault that this thing broke. I know it's not your fault that whatever so and so it's passed a policy or whatever the case may be. I know it's not your fault, but. And then you have to bring that in. You have to bring it back to you. You have to say, make sure that they're on your side, right? They have to be on your side because why the heck not? They should help you, right? The thing is, I learned so much working at a customer service job in the claims department. And I guess everyone's always just like, no, I can't help you. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to help you because that's my job. I'm going to help you, right? I'm just a helpful person. I'm trying to help people. And so by doing that, then I realized, wow, there's like a lot that customer service agents or like anybody can do. A company, what I've learned a lot, especially from my mom, is like when they say they can't do something, that's a freaking lie. Let me tell you right now, that is a gosh darn lie. That's a fucking lie. When people say, oh, I can't help you with that, I genuinely can't do that, it's a fucking lie. Managers, whatever, there's always something that can be done. So that's the second thing. There is always more to be had, okay? There's always more that can be done. There's always like when people say no, it's a freaking lie. Don't listen to people when they say no, okay? When they say no, I'm like, listen, this is now a challenge and I need to win this, okay? I need to figure out, because it's true. And I know you guys, if you were in this customer service situation, if you were in the role of the other person, I know you would be helpful as well, all right? I know you would be helpful as well. And so I'm just trying to tell you like the day-to-day things that I use this negotiation stuff for. And then we'll get into like more of like the numbers and specifics and tactics later on. But that first tactic will be empathetic, getting them on your side, all right? The second thing, or the third thing now is there's always, like I said before, there's always more that can be had, okay? And so when you look at it from your point of view, you have to understand that everyone just wants something for themselves, right? And for example, I'm trying to sell you this pen. Okay, I'm trying to sell you this pen right here. Say I have it listed, or say I'm like, hey, how much do you want to buy this for? And you're like, oh, I'll give you $2 for it. Sold. And then now you're sitting there, you're with the pen, you're out the $2, and you're like, fuck, did I overpay for that? Why was he so able to just sell it for $2? Like, I must have overpaid for it. He didn't even try, you know? So the first person who ever puts out a number is the loser. They lose the negotiation, because what if I was willing to sell this for 10 cents? All of a sudden you said $2. I'm over here like, God damn, what the fuck? You just gave me like way more than I wanted. Like, that's insane. Yeah, I'll sell this to you for $2. But you can never let them know that. And so here's the second part of that. So first, you always make the other person give out the other number. Whatever the number they say, you go, oh, what? That's a lot of money. Okay, that's a lot. Say you're trying to buy something, you'd be like, that's a lot of money. That's no. I'm not gonna buy it for that much. That's way too much. And then they're gonna be like, oh, okay, you know, fuck, okay, fine. So say we'll do the pen example, right? So I'm like, how much do you want to buy this for? And you say $2, and I'm willing to accept 10 cents. 10 freaking cents, but you're willing over here to pay $2 for this shit. I'm like, okay. So, but I can't let you know that, because now you're gonna be wondering, oh shit, like, did I overpay for that? So I go, $2. I was hoping for $4. I was hoping, that's it? $2? I was hoping, but you can't ever say a number. You say a range. I was hoping from 4 to 8. I was hoping from somewhere from 4 to 8, because then if they go to 4, say 4 was your maximum. Okay, say you at most wanted 4 for this. Okay, so now we're changing up. You wanted 4 for this. So you give a range. So the best thing that you could ever ask for, say, oh my God, if I got $4 for this, insane. That would be insane. So I gave you a range. I said 4 to 8. And I have no intention of you actually going beyond 4. I just threw that out there. Oftentimes people just go in the middle so they don't seem greedy, right? And so they go, oh, okay, maybe I'll give you $6 for it. Maybe I'll give you $7 for it. I was fully willing to, first of all, accept 10 cents. Second of all, when I realized you were willing to spend so much money for this pen, now I'm like, okay, $4 to $8, okay. And then all of a sudden you go in the middle. So not only did I not get the $4, I got way more than that, because you didn't want to seem greedy, right? But say in your mind, you were willing to pay $10 for this. So do you see how, like, you have to, like, negotiate the way? So the whole book is called Never Split the Difference, because there's always, like, so much, you know what I mean? And why should there be differences being split, right? You don't want to just randomly go in the middle. You want to be the one who has the upper hand, right? And the other person, you don't want to make the other person feel like they've overpaid or that they've underpaid or something like that, right? Or I guess underpaying is fine, but for example, right? And so what I find works best is give a range. So say you have a job interview coming up, okay? And let's just say you're fully willing to accept, I don't know, say $50,000 a year. You're making a good money, $50,000 a year, goddamn. Okay, say you go for a job interview, you have a good job, and you want at least $50,000. Okay, so what usually happens is they'll ask you, okay, what were you thinking for in terms of whatever the salary? And obviously do some research online and stuff like that. But also make yourself look like the best person ever. Be like, okay, so you're willing to accept $50,000. So instead of saying that, you're not going to say that. You're going to say, I was hoping for, what would you say? You would say somewhere between, you give a range so you don't look greedy, even though you're top, so you're fine with $50,000. So in this example, fine. Okay, we go, I was hoping for somewhere between 50,000 to, but never go that low. Go higher, right? I was hoping for somewhere between $60,000 to $80,000. And they're like, God damn, that's a lot of money. Like, what are you bringing to the table? That's a lot of money. He's like, well, I have this. I'm the best. And there you go. And so then they come back and they're like, okay, originally we were only going to give you $60,000, but now we're giving you $65,000. And you're like, but then you say, that's not enough. That's not enough. I was hoping for more than that. I was hoping for somewhere between this, but it's like, really? That's it? You were fully willing to accept 50. They come back, okay, and then you give them a range, and then they went in between the ranges. You got way more than you ever wanted. So no matter what, don't ever just accept something as is. when companies offer you your salary, when companies offer you money, and this is like a negotiation part, it's not just like a hourly minimum wage thing, you can negotiate that. Everything is negotiable. Every single thing in your life, everybody you meet is negotiable. Okay, people are always willing to hear you out. People are always willing to listen. Okay, sometimes they're not, but trust me, they are. If you say the right things, they're always willing to listen, right? And so it's important that, you know, this company was trying to scam your ass, right? Maybe they originally were just like, okay, let's see. Because what happens if you said, oh, I'm okay with $40,000, and meanwhile in the budget they have for your thing, it's what, $30,000 more, and you just missed out on that because you didn't want to seem greedy. It's not about seeming greedy. You can just say things like, oh, I looked online, and online, like, this is what it is, or, you know, these are my, and the best part about that, okay, or when you're trying to, like, for a salary, you say, okay, well, my rent is this much, I have this much, this is, like, if you show how you came up with the numbers, even if you have to make them completely up, if you show reason of why you need that, or why you want to pay this, or, you know, you're selling shorts online, you know, I saw the same shorts online, this is the thing I sent, you can send it to them and say, you know, this is why, like, I'm fully willing to pay the price that you have them listed for, but I saw these ones online and I was hoping for the same price, they had already sold. Okay. And so something like that. So as long as you can make, like I said before, if you can make someone understand you, because it starts with understanding. If you can make somebody understand you, where you're coming from, even if you have to make it up, it's better. It's easier for them to accept the concessions. And a concession is when it's kind of like finding the middle ground. It's like, oh, I have this, I have this, I have this. It's like, I don't want it because of this, I don't want it because of that, or I want it because of this, I want that because of this. That's a concession. All right. And so it's about always finding, like, the hidden value in things. So it's important that you allow people to understand you, to see and be empathetic for you, and to see your point of view, right? But you also have to make them feel safe. You have to make them feel like, you know, they're not the loser here. So now if we look into more of like a real estate, this is a lot of the tactics I've used. The range thing is insane. That works very, very, very well. The second thing, and so the maximum you're willing to pay is the minimum you do in the range. So like I said before, say you're going to buy a house for $100,000, okay? But you're going to try to buy it for less. Okay, so you say, okay, the range I was hoping for was somewhere between $60,000 to $80,000, even though you're willing to pay $100,000. Then you can see where the other person's at. Okay, so the seller of the house, say the seller of the house is like, oh, only 60 to 80. Okay, well, I was fine with accepting $50,000, so we'll do $80,000. So because you gave a range, they look like the greedy ones going to the very top of the range. Does that make sense to you? They look greedy because you gave a nice little range, even though you're willing to spend $20,000 way more than the top of the end of that, right? So you give a nice little range and they just go right to the top. All right. They're the ones who seem greedy, right? Do you understand how that works? And people don't want to seem greedy, you know, so to say. They don't want to seem greedy. So that's important as well. So to pick the range, but make sure you always go like way less than if you're trying to buy something, and way more than, you know, if you're trying to sell something, right? And so that's how you don't seem greedy, but it's how you also gauge the other person. So say the other person knows that they have a house worth $100,000. So they say, oh, you're insane for thinking that you could spend somewhere between $60,000 to $80,000, right? And then you're like, oh, okay, they kind of know. Be like, well, why? You know, how can I, like, what are the comparables? How is that? Like, if they can't explain it, they just want their price to want their price, then again, they look greedy, right? So you can say, oh, you know, I did my comparables, I saw this one sold for $60,000, and okay, you have this, that, more, I'm willing to give you this. And then, you know, you have to come sort of and like meet them in the middle so that nobody else feels like they got scammed, right? You don't want to feel like you got scammed. No, neither party wants to feel like they got scammed. And if we go back to the first thing, if you buy something right away for the first price, it's like, fuck, did I do that right? Okay, if you sell something right away and it just sells instantly, you're like, fuck, you know, could I have sold it for more? And that's the problem sometimes. That's the problem. So many times I've seen houses get offers and the offer was really good. It was the best offer that they got. But because it was the very first offer, they thought that their house was worth more than that offer because they got one right away. What happens is that house will sit in the market and nobody's going to offer that much. And so they're just like, fuck, we were so greedy, we didn't accept the good offer that we got. You guys, I've seen this so many times. So it's important that you're also not greedy as well when doing things, right? So do your research, understand the other person, and dig deep to find out what they truly want. All right, because so I guess we'll use the house example, or like a work example. Say you're totally fine working on Saturday and getting Monday off, and say a company really, really, really needs somebody to work on Saturday, and they don't give a shit if you come in Monday or not because everybody else is there, right? And so if you can find out that's what they want, you have so much power. So but you can never make it seem like that, right? You never make it seem like that. So you say, oh, I have to work Saturday? Really? Can you compensate me for working on Saturdays, even though you're totally fine, you don't give a shit? And they'll be like, you know what? Yeah, we're willing to spend a lot more money because we really want somebody on Saturday. So we're going to give you $10 more an hour. And you're going to be like, fuck yeah, I was totally fine working anyways. I would have done it for free. I didn't give a shit. But yeah, if I can get paid for it more, then why not? And the company is, so you're happy because you're getting more money for nothing really. And the company is happy because they found somebody to work on Saturday. So it's a win-win scenario. It's a win-win scenario. And so there's always, numbers are not only the main thing. Okay. Yes, numbers are the main thing, but it's not the only thing. There's always more to the story. So, one time I was selling a house, and they had a pool table. They did not want the pool table. They didn't want to move the pool table. They wanted the pool table to stay there. And so come offer night, we're negotiating with the person who is buying the house, and they did not want to come up $5,000. My client wanted that $5,000, and I was like, I'm going to get that $5,000 for you. Don't you worry. And so they were also like humming and hawing about, oh, fuck the pool table. We have to move the pool table. It's going to be so expensive. And you know what your boy did? Your boy goes, okay, what if I ask my clients, me knowing that they're totally fine leaving the pool table there, they're totally fine with it. I'm going to ask my clients to see if they can leave the pool table, their precious, beautiful pool table here, for the extra $5,000 that you guys don't want to come up. And then they're like, okay, yeah, if they can leave the pool table here, we'll come up the extra $5,000. So I go, hey, I'm just pretending right now because I already know you guys don't give a shit about the pool table. So yeah. And I'm just hang up. You know what? My clients, they're gonna be happy to leave the pool table for you. Or I really had to convince them. It's a beautiful pool table, but they're willing to leave it for the extra $5,000. And you guys, it's a win-win scenario. Okay, but it's all the way that I framed it. So now they're gonna go and they're gonna tell all their friends. The buyers are gonna be like, we got that pool table for the extra $5,000, this, that, the other. Oh my gosh, it was this and it was so crazy and this. Because if I was just like, okay, yeah, let's sell the pool table, then there's so much money left on the table. Okay, they're not gonna tell the story afterwards. People tell stories about good deals that they got, right? Or when there's there's the plot involved. So make sure you use stuff for the plot as well, right? You have to use it for the plot. You have to sort of play on people's emotions. You have to see, okay, what are they in it? How are they going to feel successful? How are they going to feel? So use your empathy to feel, okay, what does the other person truly want? Okay, what do they like? Rather than just the number, like, how can I get this to be better, right? And so say they really wanted something, okay? And if you're willing to have that, you can never fork it over right away, because that thing that you have that you don't really care about becomes a beautiful negotiation tactic in the negotiations, right? That becomes a beautiful thing. This thing is amazing, okay? Whether it's a pool table, whether it's working on Saturdays, whether it's, I don't know, a closing date, that you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different variables. Negotiations, as long as you figure out if there's something else that they want, or how you can solve a problem that they have, the world is your oyster. Seriously, that's when people light up. That's when people talk about their stories. That's how you used to use your empathy. All right. So you don't want to be an asshole right away. You want to know your worth. You want to be confident in yourself. Say, I know what I have, and I'm not willing to give it up. And so sometimes if you don't negotiate a salary when you're going for a position like that, sometimes the interviewee will be like, oh, okay, do they not know their worth? Maybe they're like shit. Maybe they don't know that they're good, right? And so it's kind of like, you have to always negotiate and figure out, okay, where is their money being left on the table? Where is their concessions? What is being left on the table for me to have? Because there's always something for you to have and more. There's always something for you to have and more. All right. It brings us to one of the last points, is using specific numbers. Okay. Especially if you're buying something, 50, I want $552. You don't just say $500, $300, $5,000, $250,000. Okay. You want to use a specific number. Oh, I got that number from doing these math calculations. I did this, I saw that the part was worth this much. Say you're buying a car, this part was worth this much, and this is what I need to do in order for me to make it safe. I need a specific baby chair for my baby, and this is how much that baby chair costs and how much it's going to cost to install. I don't know, whatever you needed in there. And so if you can make somebody, okay, so I just gave you that number, maybe you're willing to accept more or less, but this is the reason why I gave that. And you always have to write a list out of, so that you don't look like, oh, he just or she just threw a number out there. Well, even though you did, you got to bullshit a little bit. You can say, okay, well, this is why and this is that. And maybe you do actually have numbers or whatever. Yeah, that may be the case. But make sure you explain yourself, because people can feel better when you're explaining yourself, right? So, yeah, that's mainly the main strategies that I always tell my friends when talking about negotiations. Understanding that there is always more to be had, you guys. There's always more to be had. You have to know what you have, and you have to understand what you have. You have to understand what the other person has. So once you guys understand each other, make sure you take control of the situation. Read that book, you guys. I just gave you a really long TLDR and some anecdotal evidence of this stuff working, but I literally use this in every day. I use the stuff I've learned from that book every single day. Chris Voss is a legend. He used to work, I'm pretty sure in the beginning, he talks a little bit about himself, and he used to work for ransom. So, when someone has a ransom, they're holding somebody hostage, they get the hostages out. So obviously he knows what he's talking about. He's good. He's saved people's lives and stuff like that. So get that book. I'll read you guys. This video, I did not realize this video was going to be so long. Let me know how you liked it. Thank you so much for being here. I love each and every one of you so very much. You guys, I'm going to negotiate right now with you to subscribe to me if you haven't already. So please like this video, because I just literally talked for 22 minutes. And if you found anything helpful in this video, like this video. You guys, I make daily videos. I do more spiritual topics, but I have a lot of, I just love psychology. I love life stuff. So if you like videos like these, I can do a little bit more, just stuff I've learned along the years. Thank you so much for being here. I make daily videos. I do daily video tarot readings, usually for free on YouTube. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I love you so much. I'm going to give you a big kiss. And if those weren't enough reasons to subscribe to you, you got to comment below. You got to let me know what else am I missing. So thank you guys so much for being here. I love you guys, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.